I now have the honor to invite the first speaker on my list this morning, His Excellency Ekof Spio Garbra, Minister for Trade and Industry of Ghana. You have the floor, sir.
Madam President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, allow me to wish you a very bright good morning. Ghana would like to join other delegates in congratulating you, Madam President, on your election as President to the 16th session of the UNIDO General Conference, and to extend similar congratulations to other members of the Bureau for their respective elections. We are confident that under your collective leadership, we will certainly have positive outcomes at this meeting. And we pledge that you can count on our full support and collaboration for a successful conference. As a member country of UNIDO for over 4 decades, Ghana appreciates her long partnerships with UNIDO, which over the years have made significant contributions towards the promotion and development of our industrial sector, leading to job creation and poverty reduction. We believe UNIDO is very well placed to make even greater contributions to the successful implementation of Ghana's current industrial policy. Ghana's industrial policy is aimed at creating sustainable jobs and contributing to a greater export revenue target of some $5 billion US from our non-traditional exports by the year 2017. And this is projected under the National Export Development Program. Ghana recognizes the enhanced role of UNIDO in the global development agenda following the adoption of its new mandate of inclusive and sustainable industrial development, ISID, which focuses on poverty reduction, inclusive globalization, and foster innovation. We believe aligns fully with the objectives of our own Ghana industrial policy. Ghana desires to place industrial growth at the center of its economic resurgence. We therefore need to continue to draw on the immense expertise of UNIDO for assistance and guidance in the implementation of ongoing projects, as well as those that are outlined under a proposed Ghana country program submitted this year for UNIDO's consideration and support. We wish to express appreciation and gratitude to UNIDO for responding promptly to our request by fielding a mission to Ghana early this month. The main components of the Ghana country program are: first, agro-industry value chain development; second, investment promotion, entrepreneurship and skills development; and third, renewable energy, green growth, cleaner production, energy efficiency, and waste management. These 3 major components represent the core of our industrial policy, and their successful implementation would contribute tremendously to the renaissance of the country's industrial sector. But in addition, Ghana's industries also need access to equity funding, to lower interest rates, to affordable and appropriate technologies, and to a workforce that is well trained and prepared for industrial work. And we believe UNIDO could be quite effective and helpful in all these areas. In view of Ghana's agro-industrial ambitions, we call on UNIDO to forge a much closer collaboration with other multilateral organizations such as UNESCO, FAO, IFAD, UNITA, and the African Development Bank to enable Ghana and other countries as well to gain the most synergies from this collective effort. Ghana welcomes UNIDO's intervention in several sectors, including to promote our Made in Ghana brand, which is part of our industrial policy objectives. Ghana is committed to the successful outcome of the discussions of this session of the General Conference and on the future of UNIDO. Let me conclude by congratulating Mr. Lee Yong for his successful tenure of office thus far as Director General of UNIDO, and also to commend the work that he has done since his assumption of office, together with the able team that he has assembled. Ghana wishes to assure the leadership of UNIDO of its support in fulfilling your mandate under the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Excellencies, I thank you all for your kind attention and wish this assembly successful deliberations. Thank you.
Now invite His Excellency Mr. Amir Hussain Amu, Minister for Industries of Bangladesh.
Madam President, Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. At the beginning, I take the opportunity to warmly congratulate you, Madam President, on your election and President of the 16th session of the General Conference of UNIDO. Let me join other delegates in extending our heartiest felicitations to Vice President and other members of the Bureau. I assure you of my delegation full support in your steering this session to a success. Let me also convey my delegation's deep appreciation to the outgoing President of the General Conference, the distinguished representative of the government of Peru, for his excellent works and leadership. I would also like to most sincerely thank Director General of Mr. Lee Yong for the warm hospitality extended and UNIDO Secretariat for their hard works to put together this conference and the arrangement made for this event. My delegation takes the opportunity to heartily welcome Marshall Islands as new member of UNIDO. Madam President, you are aware that Bangladesh is a rapidly developing country, growing consistently over 6% annually during the last decade under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, daughter of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. In Bangladesh, we consider industrial development as a major contributor to our country's socio-economic progress. Our efforts towards industrialization of the country have been multidimensional. The industrial development of our country has been taking place by way of promoting private entrepreneurs, facilitating investors from home and abroad by policy support like industrial policy, export and import policy, and fiscal policy, as well as the establishment of industrial estates, export processing zones, EPZs, economic zones, and industrial parks. Some of our industrialization efforts, the industrial estates by Bangladesh Small and Cottage Industries Corporation, were put in place back as only early 60s. We framed our Export Processing Zone Act in 1980. Private export processing zones are there since late 1990s, and Korean export processing zones at the first such zone in Bangladesh has been in operation for more than a decade now. We last made industrial policy in 2010 and is under a process of updating now. Creation of the maximum employment opportunities, ensuring the rights of workers based on the labor policies, and ramping up the inflow of industrial investment in the country are the principles of our industrial policy. The policy is supportive to the ISID approach that seeks to benefiting people from industrial growth and shared development with environmental integrity is central of our industrial policy. When ISID aims at ensuring support to broader economic and social growth within an environmentally sustainable framework. So far, there are 450 industrial units in operation in 8 export processing zones. EPZs of Bangladesh have now emerged as an important arena for foreign investment. As of September 2015, the total amount of actual investment in BEPGA as US $3.67 billion. Investors from 37 countries have so far invested in the EPZs of Bangladesh. The cumulative value of the export of manufacturing products up to September this year from the export processing zones amounts to US $47.63 billion, and in the last financial year alone, the total export from the EPZs was US $6.11 billion, which accounts for around 19% of our national export. The EPZs have created direct employment for 4,28,839 Bangladeshi nationals, of which 64% is female. Moreover, about 4 lakhs more have been employed indirectly for these EPZs. As the majority of the employers in EPZs and the garments industries are women, the industrial development has made making significant contribution to women empowerment in our country. We have improved working environment and wages of the workers significantly and ensured the rights of and welfare of the workers and industrial bylaws. These include, amongst other things, education, medical security, welfare, and proper care for the children of female workers. Occupational health, safety, and security measures at the industries are ensured too. Diversing products have contributed significantly to export diversification of the country. We express our sincere appreciation for the contribution of UNIDO to our industrial development. Though the BST program, we have got exposure to international best practice by improving our system for food safety requirements. Bangladesh still lacks capacity in industry-specific instruments and know-how in many areas. We hope that the UNIDO would continue its support to our industrialization efforts by providing such support in this year ahead. Madam President, the success of Bangladesh in achieving the targets of MDGs is acclaimed globally by awarding our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina with UN MDG Award 2010, South-South Award, and Diploma Award by Food and Agriculture Organization. Now we have the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development adopted by the world leaders at the United Nations Sustainable Development Summit in September this year. The agenda includes a set of 17 Sustainable Development Goals to end poverty, fight inequality and injustice, and tackle climate change by 2030. In order to attain those goals by our country, we have very recently adopted the 7th five-year plan, aligning our development goals with Global Development Agenda. The 7th five-year plan has set a target of an average industrial growth of 7.3% to attain the post-2015 Sustainable Development Goal 9 that commit to build a resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. The 7th five-year plan has set goals and targets with a view to attaining the real GDP growth of 8% by 2020, so as to support our plan to graduate from LDC to a middle-income country by 2021. Such economic growth is expected, amongst others, to reduce poverty to 18.6%, and extreme poverty to around 8.9%, and income inequality. Improve gender equality in education, particularly in tertiary education, from 70% to 100%. Augment employment opportunity in the manufacturing sector from 15% to 20%. Increase the contribution of the manufacturing sector to 21% to GDP by FY20. Having substantial foreign direct investment to country, ensure sustainable urban development that support increased productivity, investment, and employment, ensure environmental sustainability. Before I conclude, while I reaffirm our commitment towards the UNIDO, I call upon the UNIDO to broaden and deepen its support, technological and others, for the capacity building in the industrial sector of all LDCs, including Bangladesh, which are in the path of graduating to a middle-income country. I thank you all.
The next and last speaker for this morning on my list is His Excellency Mr. Donville Innes, Minister of Industry, International Business, Commerce and Small Business Development of Barbados. You have the floor, sir.
Madam President, Director Lee, fellow ministers, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed an honor and a pleasure for me to make a brief comment to you here today at this our 16th General Conference of UNIDO on behalf of the government and people of Barbados. I congratulate you, Madam President, on your election to this high office and to wish you all the best in your tenure as you deliberate with the usual dignity and strength of such office. And to DG Lee and the entire team here at UNIDO, we thank you for your sterling leadership of this critical organization, and especially note the high level of engagement between UNIDO and Barbados over the past year. Undoubtedly, small, vulnerable open economies such as Barbados and most of us in the Caribbean region continue to face many social, economic, and political challenges which are closely related to our industrial policies, some driven by internal dynamics and others by externalities. For many years, our region has been a policy and a price taker from developed countries. Whilst we have benefited in many respects from the importation of several policies and programs from external sources, alas, some of our development policies have not been as sustainable as manifested through the deep and prolonged economic recession that has taken a toll on developing economies since 2008. We have over the years, however, pursued an industrialization by invitation policy, which has seen many foreign direct investment in the economy, hence creating jobs and transferring technology. In response, our educational programs have built up capacity to respond to growing demands and to add greater value to our industrial development programs. We have, however, been challenged by competition from jurisdictions with lower input costs. And today, Barbados is pursuing an industrial development program that is far more sustainable. Madam President, UNIDO and the government of Barbados have signed a joint declaration piloting a resource-efficient, low-carbon and circular industrial partnership platform for catalyzing eco-innovation and entrepreneurship in Barbados. And this was signed in Samoa in September of 2014 at the SIDS conference. And this initiative focuses on renewable energy and efficiency, driving innovation for industrial development. And the first phase of this program has commenced with a project, Accelerate Renewable Energy and Efficiency, Technology Innovation, Industry Development and Entrepreneurship in Barbados, to be funded by the Global Environment Facility. And this project is strategically linked to the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency and will create opportunities for the export of Barbados technology and expertise. This program entails further diversification of energy program towards renewable and alternative sources of energy such as solar and wind. Madam President, ladies and gentlemen, Barbados' fossil fuel import bill for a small island averages about $400 million per year, which is certainly not sustainable. To date, we have created legislation to foster the development of renewable energy industry in Barbados with the goal of generating 20% of our energy needs from renewable energy sources by 2020. To date, we are on target. We are also working closely with UNIDO on the creation of a modern industrial park facilities that makes maximum use of renewable energy for power generation, whilst at the same time creating new environmentally friendly and innovative industries that are sustainable and help to strengthen our economies. With the financial and technical support of UNIDO, the EU, the Sustainable Energy Island Initiative, and the Caribbean Community, and the Government of Austria, the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency was launched in Barbados on the 28th of October 2015. Once fully established, this center will play a crucial role to facilitate knowledge and technology transfer, capacity building, and the creation of a Caribbean sustainable energy industry. Madam President, we are very grateful for the invaluable contribution of UNIDO and the government and the people of Austria in particular to this center in the Caribbean. Ladies and gentlemen, for Barbados today, we will continue to focus on developing our economy and society in a manner that recognizes climate change and its impact upon sustainable economic development. We therefore continue on developing service-based industries such as tourism, technology, agriculture, fishing, banking, and finance. While such may contrast with the traditional manufacturing sectors, such affords us the opportunities to make full use of the intellectual capacity of our people. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the government and people of Barbados, I once again thank UNIDO for their contribution and leadership on global industrial policy development, and eagerly look forward to your stronger physical presence in the Caribbean region in the near future. And Barbados stands ready to welcome you and to foster a much deeper relationship. I thank you.
We have now reached the end of this morning's general debate. As announced yesterday, we will now move to the second forum event, the Donor Meeting 2015. I propose that the closure of this meeting at 1 p.m. will again mark the end of this morning's plenary.